It's a fun background in it.
There we go. Hi there.
How are you?
Good, good.
How's your week been?
Ah, I got a new listing again last week. I'm working on that today, the listing agreement. And
That's all.
talked to these people in a long time. They had a commercial building that I sold to them in 2006, and it's been listed for a year and a half with another agent, and that was expired on the 31st. So they contacted me to take it over.
That's
So,
awesome.
and I
Did,
haven't
did
I send them postcards and newsletters
no,
constantly. But I'm guessing that the referrals while you sleep was connecting with them as well.
that's awesome.
Get me back in the game with them.
Exactly.
And
Hey,
I sold them 3 properties over the years. So,
okay.
you know,
So y'all ain't strangers, but went to someone else for it the first time, and now they came to you.
yeah, and commercial is not my forte. So that's probably why they went with the other person. But after I talked to them last week, I had a lot of new ideas that their commercial real estate agent didn't throw at him. He was just a year and a half, they missed their market. Interest rates are down around 3 to 4%. And I said, you haven't adjusted your price for the 7% interest rates we have today. What do you expect?
Right.
And I was just brutally honest with them. And I told them that, that's why you work with me is you want to know what you need to know, not what you want to hear.
Right.
And so everything's good. So I'll be working on that listing agreement today.
That's awesome. Hey, Jim. Hey, Jim. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Jeff.
How's it going?
Good, good. Jim, I've been seeing your ads on my Instagram feed.
Have you? That's cool.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, sometimes it does. And I tell you what, like every time I see it, so I've seen like 2 or 3 different ones, and it just brings like it's cool to see it in action. Like it brings a smile to my face. Like the one today was you and your wife holding hands in a field.
I saw that one too. I love that one.
Yeah, yeah. And then last week it was you with a group of people. And I tell you what, like it just makes me feel like it makes me feel good to see it. And I've seen some of Nathan Lee's too, and it's really cool to kind of see it in the wild like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna upload my Easter egg hunt video too to referrals while you sleep. I think that turned out really nice. So I'll upload that in there.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael.
Morning.
Hey, Jeff. So we've got storms that are rolling through here. So if for chance I get knocked off, will one of you guys just stand up to be the leader and keep it rolling while I come back on?
You may have to take a dive into your tornado shelters, what I heard today. So I understand you guys are in that kind of watch area for some rocking and rolling stuff today.
Yeah, we're downstairs. This is our safe room. My office is in the safe room. So I had the kids come down here, and there's this little app called Scratch that teaches kids how to program. And so they're all on that right now, which is fun. And Jennifer, it's been a while since I feel like it's been a while. How's business?
It's getting there. It's getting there. It's been I think last year we were kind of prepared for things to be really quiet in 2023 or quieter. And
Yeah.
they weren't. I mean, it was a good year. It wasn't that quiet. Our first quarter has been pretty quiet. And I'm not, we're just doing what we're supposed to be doing, and lots of things are starting to pop out and people are asking. I don't really think NAR settlement has caused people not to do things. I mean, I'm not seeing anything like that going on really. But I think my whole thought is now's the best time ever if you're a seller to put your house on the market, because things really haven't changed yet, you know, and so there's not a lot of uncertainty. Just do what we know to do. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of been quiet. So Mark and I just keep going on vacation, hoping that while we're out of town,
Yeah.
someone will call us.
That's the way it usually works, right? The day before
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah.
I've already got agents asking me on my listings, well, are you really paying a co-op fee? Like they're asking that already. And I'm going, it's listed in the MLS still. I'm not going to like not pay you, you know?
I just keep thinking, I mean, I was thinking about a video this morning, and a little bit of it just, which was going to be, you know, I'm aware of what's going on, but there are no answers yet in the state of Texas. Our contracts are going to change. Our agreements are going to change. All you need to do is work with someone who's experienced, that you trust, that you've been doing things with. I'm just totally surprised at how many people are just off their rock. I mean, I don't have my head in the sand. I am not an ostrich, but at the same time, all these people who are off their rocker, even in our brokers, like, we want some answers. We want some people to take a direction. I'm like, direction where? There are
Right.
so many outstanding and open questions right now. Why do you want someone going off doing something that 2 weeks later may not even be applicable? Just breathe and keep doing what you know how to do, you know, whatever. So anyway, I think it would be a good video. I don't know where it's all going to settle down, but I do know what I'm doing. So hop on my little train and come on with me. So
Yeah, I don't think clients care nearly as much as realtors. And it makes me think of the O.J. Abraham quote. You know, people are walking around with their umbilical cord in hand, looking for a place to plug it into. Like, people are dying for leadership. They just want to be told what to do. And, you know, Allison, how's things going with you?
I kind of feel the same way about that Jennifer just said, that, you know, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. When, you know, I may notice an increase, you know, for my own listings, that buyers coming directly to me as the listing agent, and that's fine. That's great. That's wonderful. I do dual agency gladly. And if I'm representing, you know, going on a listing appointment, you know, I'm just going to be clear that, hey, you know, because it's only been one time someone brought it up in conversation, a seller, and that they're thinking about selling their house in December. And, but I said, you know, it really hadn't, the only big change is we're not allowed to post it in the MLS. You know, you're still allowed to pay a buyer's agent. And, you know, if I was selling my house and, you know, it's just going to cause more communication between the real estate agents, because we got to call and ask them what they're offering. And you bet your bottom dollar, if I was selling my own house and that same situation, I'd offer a buyer's agent, because what if that buyer doesn't have the money to pay it? And, you know, then they may not look at your home. And don't you want to entice as many buyers, buyer agents to show your house as possible, you know? And then I told him too, I said, you know, when right now we can see, and it's like, you can see what your competition's offering, that, you know, 3%, 3%, 2.5%, 3%, 3%, 3%, 2.5%. And, you know, I can let you know what everybody is charging. It'll just take a little bit longer because I'll have to make the phone calls, you know, in the future. But really that's the only change. And, so that's how you know, I'm addressing it and looking at it.
Yeah.
and see, for us, like, we don't have dual agency in Texas. You can't do me. I mean, you can sell your own listing, but you are helping the buyer be a customer, and you can't give them any advice or representation. There's no agency in it, you know. And someone in our someone that I was talking to is like, well, maybe our MLS, maybe our scheduling services will be where we can disclose our, I mean, there's no guidelines against scheduling services. So when you're scheduling an appointment online, that's where compensation could be disclosed. So, there's just a lot of unknown, anyway, I already said that, but
I have
anyway.
I have a question for you guys about that. In our MLS here in Denver, we have this thing called confidential broker remarks, and only the brokers can see it. I'm assuming you guys have something similar to that, right?
Agent
Yeah.
remarks.
Yeah. So
Private remarks. Yeah.
okay. So what happened is when they first came out with it, I asked the head honcho here in Denver, I said, what are we supposed to put in there? Of course, that's when we at first came out. And he says, you can literally put anything you want in there. It's your place to put whatever you want in there. So my thought is, if that doesn't change, why couldn't we just put the co-op right in the confidential broker remarks? Yes,
It's in the MLS. We can't do that. We asked for here. We can't.
you did.
Yeah, we can't put it because it's still in our MLS. We can't put it in our agent remarks.
But it's not in the public remarks. You can't put it in the private.
Correct. Can't do it in either one.
I'll have to ask Denver about that, but we have this thing called showing time. You guys might have heard of that.
Yeah, we have that.
Why can't there is a spot in showing time where you can put a co-op? So why couldn't we put it there?
That we could.
Or put it below. Or...
That's what I was saying, Jim. Either in showing time, we use showing time in Broker Bay here. So
broker, yeah, they're talking no on all of this, and you don't want any information you don't want in showing time.
Gotcha.
Zillow,
so you're hearing no on that.
Zillow just sued Canada because of this. So they're suing every MLS. Zillow is, and they own showing time. So you want to stay away from these products as much as possible. Broker Bay is the one to work, but my understanding from every MLS that I've been on phone calls with different agents, they're all saying the same thing. They don't even want it in the showing things. They're trying to keep it out of everywhere. So it's literally a conversation. They just don't want it posted.
So are you going to post it, Tony? Are you
gonna... No. We're going to get back to having conversations with agents, which I'm in love with this idea. I remember the days of, Jim, you might have done this. We drove over and we sat down and we actually presented a contract to the seller with their agent, and we had a conversation, and if you're charming enough, you won. Those were the days, right? And I'm kind of irritated by the lack of communication. So like Allison said, I'm thrilled to be talking to these agents where we can get a moment and say, hey, did you know that this house has 200,000 in upgrades? You might want to go to the MLS documents, check that out, print it, give it to your client before you go show. I've got all the upgrades listed. Those are really cool things we can have in conversations with these people as they're calling in. So I'm kind of excited about that part.
Real estate agents got to start answering their phones now, which is awesome.
What?
Yeah.
That'll be a new thing, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Well, even returning a text would be in the right direction.
Right. Hello, crickets, 3 days. I'm trying to get an offer to you.
Right. Yeah. I went to a mastermind last week. It was here in Nashville, and the guy, he started out in real estate, and he runs a company now that helps people get VAs. But there's probably like 30 people in the room, and probably about 20 of them were realtors, maybe 18 or so. And I had the most fascinating conversation because they were asking what I did, and I said, mainly referrals while you sleep. And we're talking about real estate, and they said one of the girls, like she probably did like 30 million in transactions last year in Franklin, Tennessee. But they all said we're all trying to get out of real estate, and like every single one of them. And I just thought that was so fascinating. Like this core group of people that we've got here, like you guys don't want to get out. Like you guys love what you do, and that is so rare.
Yeah, and I think when you work with by referral only, you work that type of methodology, like you actually love the business because you actually have relationships. You know, it's not the hardcore, fast-paced taxi cab type service that most realtors offer. You know, we offer that limousine service. That's an old metaphor, but I still love it.
It's also quality of life, Jim. Like how many agents we work Monday through Friday. We quit work at 6 o'clock. We have weekends off. How many people can say that? We take 6 vacations every year. We go to Europe for a month every year. That's the quality of life, BRO methodology, as you called it. That's that quality of life that comes with being an agent. Can you imagine these poor kids that are paying for leads, giving up 35% of their income, and they're chasing these leads nonstop 24/7 to get there? That's exhausting. So I can imagine, Charlie, that some of those folks, that you talk to, maybe lead chasers. None of us, I don't think, are chasing leads here. They're basically calling us and coming to us because we attract them.
You
Yeah.
know, in the past, I've tried to buy leads and it's just horrible. It's a horrible life, because they're all bad leads, most of them. And it's just not the way I want to live my life. It's like quality of life, like you said, Tony.
Yeah, there's, I had the same experience because, I ran a marketing company before I got into real estate. So I was like, all right, I'm going to generate a bunch of leads to grow my business. And like when I used to hear, buyers are liars. Like that's not with my BRO methodology. That's not the case. Like we have deep, honest conversations about what we're wanting. But then what I saw on this other side with these leads, like, th they didn't trust me to tell the truth is what it was. Like there was no connection. We didn't have, like when I'm working with a referral, like right now I'm working with um, Allison. She's got a client that's moving from Nashville down to Huntsville. And, I've never met the person before, but she's connected to Allison and like we've got that deep trust. So just immediate, there's this like, if she ghosts me or I ghost her, like we've got that commitment there, like to keep that from happening. And, like it's just working with people where there's no connection, they're getting bombarded by 5 or 6 different agents. Like I've got to answer my phone right away. It's really exhausting. What I feel like a lot of people do is if they actually step back and look at it, the majority of their profit and business comes from their sphere. But they've got all these brokers and teachers and everyone else saying, yeah, but to really like get the most out of your business, you got to buy all these leads and you got to do all these other things, which, what I realized when I just dropped all that stuff, I had an amazing life and an amazing career, like you're talking about, Tony. It's really fascinating. Like that like that's normal, so Jeff, that's something to just kind of realize when you're talking to realtors. Like that's in the back of their mind. Like if they're chasing leads, they're probably hating this business at some place.
Yeah. Buyers, that's funny, that statement, buyers are liars. I always say to realtors when I hear that from them, I always say buyers aren't liars. Real estate agents are bad questioners. That's the problem.
Bingo.
If we don't ask the right questions, we don't get down to that point where we know what they need. And that's lenders, it's everybody. It's all about asking the right questions. Buyers don't know what they want. That's your job, to lead them, to plug in the umbilical cord and ask the right questions.
Buyers and sellers don't even know what to really ask, like what questions to really ask anyway. And so if we plant the seeds of what the conversation needs to be, that's part of leadership, and then when we do the 5, 6, and 7, we can get to the heart of it. That's where we get to the heart.
Jim, there's
Right.
videos right there.
Yes,
10
exactly.
questions you should ask your realtor, 10 questions you should ask your buyer's agents, the top 10 questions you should ask your seller's agent, the top 10 questions you should ask about escrow, the top 10 you should ask about the process, that we could just go into. Here's your questions. Here's what you should ask.
Yeah.
Fire
Right.
away.
The top 7 questions your agent should ask you.
That'd be fun. Do you have any money? How wealthy is your daddy?
The rich uncle.
What?
The rich uncle.
Yeah, I just had the experience. Oh, we're trying to, the kids needed to get money from the parents. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Charlie, what do we do next?
Yeah, that's a good question. Man, I love that thought on kind of just the videos. I know some of us have been, stuck, not doing videos. I know Jerry's been doing a few. I'd love to. I'm actually working on having the directory where we can like reach out to each other and do some videos together. I know me and Tony Ray have done it, and I've been doing this for a while. So I've got one person that I meet every week. We meet for an hour, and we do a video for him for 30 minutes, and we do a video for me for 30 minutes. And there's a couple keys that I found that work really well for it that I'd share with you. Think about, I love the real estate lender version of this because it's mutually like helpful. But if you don't have that, what I found, there's like a few things that really make this work. So one of the things that makes that you look for in this partnership is someone where the video mutually benefits you. So for example, my buddy that I do this with, his company is Real Estate Growth Hackers, and he runs marketing strategies for real estate teams and also real estate software companies. So if you've heard of Sisu, he's worked, with like the .loop API. So he works like with those types of people. And so it makes sense, since I'm in real estate, me and him can have, and I'm technological, me and him can have really good conversations. And so when we do our call together, like he leads it, it's really all about him. But I'm there kind of, if you remember, what was it? Conan O'Brien used to have Andy Richter. I'm the Andy Richter to his show. And so one of the things that I found that makes it really good is like, there's got to be a mutually beneficial thing. And the other thing for me, of course, like he speaks tech, he speaks marketing, he speaks real estate teams. So as I'm usually talking about referrals while you sleep, like he's got some really good kind of different facets, like a diamond has different facets. He's got some different things he can bring to it. But my show is all about me. And so again, that's the reason I think the real estate lender thing works well. And then we've just got a time every week that we meet. I remember there was one week that he couldn't meet, so he actually had someone else that he knows say, "Hey, but I've got someone else that's going to show up and do the guest spot with you." So we just did that show. Sometime, a few times we've had to move it. But the main thing, if you've ever heard Scott Adams, one of his favorite phrases is, don't set goals, instead create systems. You want systems instead of goals. And I love that. In fact, so my 10-year-old's been reading that book, and today he asked me, he said, "Hey Dad, you got goals?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "You need systems." I was like, yes. I was like, well, my goal is to get back to Puerto Rico, and I'm putting in systems to get there. But for me, with my buddy Zach, it's just the habit of every, we're doing this. And so one, it's mutually beneficial for both of us. The second thing, hey, Jana.
Hi.
Great
Hi
to
there.
see you.
I thought I had my video off. I didn't mean to make you look up my nose.
Oh, it's all right. You can turn it off. There you are. But I wanted to say hi anyway. So the second thing is that, like you've got at least enough, like you know about each other's business enough that they can actually have like a good conversation. So again, that's why I think the real estate lender thing works really well. The first time I did this with a home insurance, or a property and casualty insurance. And it wasn't as in depth, like he didn't have as much info. So that's the second thing. And then the third is just it's someone you enjoy. One of the things that I found is like when me and him hop on a conversation, like we actually look forward to it. It's 1:00 every 1:30 every Monday. And so we'll text each other, say it's my favorite time of the week. It's your favorite time of the week. And we just talked yesterday. I think we did like a 14-minute one for me. Sometimes we do 45 minutes. And so I wanted to share, those were the three things that I found that really makes it. It's really the systems over the goals. And the reason I mentioned that, I've been going through everyone's stats. We're about to email all the stats out to you for the last week. And the people that, it works without video. And the people that do video, it's just a 10x result. And so I'd love to just kind of, you hear about that. What do you think about that? Does anyone want to be challenged to find that person before next week? Michael's like, not me.
Yeah, I've already got someone on the calendar.
That's right. You got me. The thing's Thursday this week. I like it.
Now you just have to convince Rebecca. I know she got cold feet somehow and said, "Who's this Charlie dude I'm supposed to be talking to? I don't trust him."
Yeah. She's wise.
Okay, I'm only half joking. I seriously need to come up with a sales pitch to get her on the video with us.
Yeah. Maybe it's just me and you.
It might be. It might be.
I'm okay with that. I just learned this week that some people, they get motivated by challenges. Some people get motivated by like encouragement. I'm the encouragement person. He's more of an encouragement. Hey, hop on, work on your scratch. And Dale, when I shared that, is there anyone that you think you can meet with every other week or once a week for a short time and just do a Zoom video with?
Other than people on this call, I don't really have anybody, locally here. I've tried and tried and tried with my lender buddy, and he just not interested.
Yeah.
And he would be a great resource. He's so smart.
Yeah.
And so I'd still like to do a video, an interview video with somebody, so I can kind of tell my story, how I got to where I am.
Yeah.
How I got into the business.
Hey Dale, if it's no threat to your lender, I'd be happy to try and do something with you if you'd like.
Okay, let's pick a day, or obviously let's just hook up and find a day and a time.
Okay, I'll do that. But also serious. I don't want to upset the apple cart with your lender. So
yeah,
I got to think that if you and I just do one video, it's not gonna disrupt his business flow.
No, it's not. Not.
Okay.
And
I was just going to say something real quick. I've been really wanting to do a video for a long time with my home inspector. I think that's such a good person to do a video with, because when buyers watch that, they're going, "Oh, I got to meet Jim's home inspector on video. That's so cool." And he talked about some really cool stuff on what he's going to look for when he does the inspection for me, or maybe what the seller might need to do to prepare their home before they put the home on the market. And I think that's such, like, out of all the vendors that I have on my 5-star directory, I always think about my home inspector. So I'm going to do that, you guys. I think that's a good one.
yeah. So true.
He'll do it too. He'll do it. He won't be shy. They're,
Yeah.
most home inspectors are not too shy, at least mine isn't.
And they can even hop on Zoom from their phone. One of my good friends, he runs, he actually creates custom fire pits. Fascinating business. He actually did one for the Utah Olympics a few years back, this custom piece. But I've encouraged him to do duo videos to kind of grow his business. And he did one with a guy that's in construction. And the other guy was just on his phone in his truck. And for whatever reason, he just uploaded it to YouTube. And it's got 4,200 views. I don't even know the magic behind that. Just amazing. But, it's just like they can just be on their phone, your home inspector. Like it doesn't have to be anything more than that.
Speaking of MLS, you guys, I have another question regarding that. So when you guys upload virtual tours, do you guys you have that opportunity to upload virtual tours in your MLS? You can do that, right?
Yeah.
So in our MLS, we can upload YouTube links into our virtual tour. So like what I do is I've been doing them almost every listing lately, where I take my little InShot editing software on my phone and I walk through that. You guys have seen them. I walk through the house and I'm talking about the house and stuff, and then I link that into the virtual tour. And I linked one in yesterday, exactly 20 hours ago, and I've already had 94 views on it just in 20 hours, the last 20 hours. And then when people call me up, I said, "Did you watch the video that I did?" And, "Oh yeah, we watched it." Because I put in the public remarks, the very first line I put in the public remarks is, "Watch my video walking voiceover tour." Or you can put in the address in YouTube and you can pull it up that way as well. And on the listing that I put on the market a week ago, it's now up to 300 views just 1 week ago.
Kim, I think that's super creative. I'm wondering, do you run into any issues of the MLS seeing that as branded?
Yeah, ours couldn't be that
Ours wouldn't
like that.
either.
It has to be completely unbranded.
It would be, we'd get $1,000 fine every time we pulled that one.
Yeah, we used to have, like in our MLS, they used to fine us if we took a picture with a sign, even in the front yard, they would fine us.
Correct.
But they decided, they took that away, because here's what happens. Most of us here in Denver, I don't know how you guys work, but here in Denver, we have a sign company, and the sign company puts up the sign before we take pictures. A lot of times the sign goes up as coming soon. And so they're not going to take a yard arm sign out just to take a picture. The sign.
No, our photographers just put white over, they just edit the sign out and just make it a white box.
Same for ours.
Well, I guess in Denver, they've given us that latitude. They said, "Okay, go ahead and take pictures with your signs. We don't care anymore."
Wow.
That's progressive.
So they let us do that. And then not only that, but when I do the video, a lot of times you guys see me standing in front of my sign,
Right.
and I'm talking about the house. And it's
So I recently did a walkthrough video like that of a recent listing. I made sure I didn't say my name. I only said the address of the property. I did voiceover, describe it as I'm walking through. I put music, and I did upload that to YouTube, unbranded. Like my company wasn't on there. My name wasn't on there. There's a little tiny dot showing my picture from YouTube in the top left corner that shows me with a sold sign. But other than that, it's not branded. So that seemed to have skated through. So I'm intending to do that again until they tell me I can't.
That's cool. Now, can you link that into your virtual tour link on your MLS?
Yes. Yes. It's on the MLS as a virtual tour link.
Cool. I'm glad we're talking about this, because I need to know how available it can be, how it can be done, because in Denver we can do it. I'm just the only one doing it that I know of here in Denver. So, and people are like absolutely loving it. So
Yeah. Jim, I was thinking if there was a way to upload the video to your Facebook business page, if you're allowed to do that and link directly to that video on Facebook, we can then retarget them for the next year.
that's a cool idea. Like, I'm not even sure that could be done, you know, like link it into the MLS right to the YouTube business page.
Yeah, to that specific video, just like you've got a video directly to YouTube.
Yeah.
You could get that little video. And because one of the things that the reason y'all stat jumped is we've now made it where not only do we use your custom list based on everyone in your email and address book, but anyone that's even viewed your Instagram or Facebook business in the last year can see your ads for the next year.
Yeah. Well, maybe you guys could go to your local MLS and say, "Hey, Denver, you know, I just found out from they let us do pictures of signs or whatever, you know." So I don't know. That might be a battle.
Gotta pick
Well,
our
like-
battle.
But then
Yeah.
they might just come shut you down, Jim.
That's true. They'll come down.
Now, Jim, you might want to just lay low on this one.
Yeah, maybe I should be careful.
Yeah. So Dell and Michael are gonna at least do a video. Jennifer, do you've got someone that you could do a video with once a week, every other week? You're muted right now.
Sorry. There probably is, you know, I think maybe I'm still getting comfortable with just me doing videos, and I'm a little bit of a, I don't know. Yes, I'll think about it. How
Yeah.
about that? I'll think about it. Yeah.
It is, I mean, it is like kind of freaky and scary, and I think that's normal. What is your hesitation?
I think controlling the content. I mean, it's just so, you know, you know, just like people who I refer or who are, so I think I would feel pretty comfortable with, you know, our lender, you know, and in fact, Chase and I did one early on last year. And I think doing one like Jim said with our home inspector would be great, you know, either Spencer, who we typically refer people to, who is the actual inspector, or Johnny, who owns, you know, who owns the company. But you know, it's a control thing for me, and you know, I just have to face that and kind of get over that with the impression and how I want people who are part of my team to, you know, to present themselves. And I realize that I don't present myself the best way, but it's me. I mean, you know, and so, but yeah, but I certainly need to consider it. Yeah.
Well, Jennifer, if you control it, if it's on your Zoom account and you don't like it, then don't post it.
Well, I get that. I get that. It's just kind of that, but that's a great point. That's a great point. You know, yeah.
You get experience.
If I'm recording it, I do or don't have to post it, right? Yeah.
That's right.
And I'm so I mean, what you just said, it's the majority. Like you're not alone in that. I mean,
I'm
there's
not
a lot
weird. I'm not a unicorn.
Yeah. Not in that way. You know, I mean, me and Jeffrey, we've been talking to, you know, there's a number of realtors that are just like, nah, like, you know, I just can't do it. And so I'd really like to dig in. Do you do any of the bro stuff, like the email or the newsletter or the postcard?
Oh, I do all of that. So I send out a newsletter quarterly. I do referral reminder postcards. I do Fun Day Monday, Letter of the Heart. You know, all of those things are going out to my clients. Yeah.
What did they do to kind of earn your trust where you felt like that would work? That we could kind of wrap up in your videos, so you felt that same level of comfort?
Well, I think with those, for most of the time, I can see what they're going to be before they are, right? I can read the newsletter. I mean, like, and sometimes I don't know if it's like intentional, but a lot of times when I read the newsletter before I approve it and say like, yeah, send it, and I am just doing them now quarterly, but I find misspelled words and wrong grammar and so I'm sure it was like, oh my gosh, because Mark does that to me, like when I send out something, he's like, that word was misspelled. I'm like, what are you, my editor? But I just kind of and sometimes there's a referral reminder postcard that maybe that story just really doesn't speak to me, So I think Allison's point was really good. I control it, right? I don't just it's not like it's not like we're doing a live recording.
Right.
And that kind of stuff. And I think in all honesty, it is making a time commitment in my schedule to block off time to make that a priority. So I'm just being really honest. I mean, there is no reason not to do it other than me deciding that I'm going to block this time to do it. Kind of like, my calendar is pretty fluid because I think in real estate, a lot of times we have to be a little bit fluid with our calendar.
Yeah.
And so there are very few times that I really protect. I try very hard to protect this time. I really try to protect Wednesday mornings till a certain time for a commitment that I have. And I need to just get better about this is what's in that slot. And unless the house is on fire or a tornado's coming, I'm doing that at that time. So that's a time management commitment challenge for me, in all honesty. Yeah.
And the system that I've found for that, the reason, I mean, I just harp on duo videos with my buddy Zach. What I found, if it was just me on the calendar, I'm gonna blow it off. Like, I ain't gonna do it. But because it's mutually beneficial, he's counting on me and I'm counting on him, and I enjoy him. That's the only way we actually get it done. And I just view it as my lead gen time. Like, I don't do a lot, I don't make the calls like I'm supposed to, whatnot, but I can do the videos because this keeps me in front of people in a really similar way. And
Gotcha.
I wanted to get your take. I wanted to get your take on something from whoever wants to chime in on this. I have a question and Jennifer, you made me think of it. You said, I don't do live videos, at least I'm not on live video, but what about live videos? What's happened? Like we have Facebook Live, we have Instagram Live, and there is one live video that I watch every Thursday. There's a lady that gets on from my church, and she has thousands of people that jump on her live Instagram every week. So like, I don't hear that much talk about it from us realtors anymore. Maybe it's not well connected to what we do. I know you can save the live video and then post it as a video too. If you like it, you can post it, or you can just not post it when it's all done. But you guys, Charlie, what do you think? Like, should we be talking about live videos?
I mean, live gets even more, live is amazing. And like my first version of this was like super nerdy in that me and the other guy named Charlie, we would pre-record the episodes, and I found a way to make it look live. So every day it actually looked live at 3:00 every afternoon, Monday through Friday. And the reason, yeah. What was cool about that is when you go live, everyone that follows you gets a notification. Hey, and like we had people, kind of like Pavlov's principle. They started, it was a 15-minute little show, and like they just loved it. They kick their feet back, not work for 15 minutes and tune in. And Facebook and Instagram notified them, that, hey, so that's great. You can also, through Zoom, I don't know if you know this, but you can actually set Zoom that when you do the recording, it can actually go live to Facebook. So you can connect it to your Facebook, and you can do both. So you can record it, to give it to us with referrals while you sleep and go live at the same time. I mean, anytime that you can go live, like you're going to get more eyeballs.
And the longer, the better.
That's genius, Charlie. How did you deal with your pre-recorded video going live and people making comments or asking questions? How did that go when you weren't really live?
I just went back to it later and answered, and because it was me and another guy talking,
Got
and
it.
I never said, hey, I'm looking at the comments or anything like that, so it was never an
makes
issue.
sense. Okay, that makes sense.
You can
Yeah.
also, right at the beginning of that, say to everybody watching, hey, I know there's going to be a bunch of questions. So as soon as we're done with this video, I'll check in and read them and respond to all of you individually so that they know that to put the questions in there and that you'll take care of them afterwards, which is great. But if Facebook's still doing it the way they said they were, the longer the better. It gives them more and more time to push and push and push. So 20 minutes is probably a minimum. They want you to keep talking because they really want to compete with YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen this lady I'm talking about. She every Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. she talks, and then she brings in somebody to talk with her. She talks for about 5 minutes. She goes, "Oh, I'm going to bring in this person," and she brings this other person in. And then you see two people talking at the same time, just like a duo video, and you're going, wow, this is pretty cool. And they're on for 1 hour. And their audience has been growing over the last 2 years like crazy. And it's pretty incredible. That might be something that we might want to talk about doing. Like if we created, even if we did it once a month, it wouldn't have to be every week. Maybe it could be once a month. We create a little real estate show or something. And then we pull people into the show to be guests and stuff like that.
I
And
think the consistency is what you're saying, Jim, is really it, because it's like, oh, it's Thursday at 9 a.m. It's the Jim show, Jim real estate show. I think
Yeah.
consistency. Yeah, I think that's it. And that's probably what made them successful. And
Yeah.
they get eyeballs, they get ears, they get everybody's, and they get people comment, and then they do, in their case, they are really live. So they do answer some of the comments occasionally. They got so many comments and there's no way they can answer them all. But it's pretty cool when they do answer some of the comments, So
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you guys about that because there might be something else we might explore it. I know that people are saying, well, I'm intimidated to do just recorded video. I never do live. Like, man, what if I say the wrong thing? Or, it's even more intimidating. But to me, it's like a more of a challenge because I've done it before and it is kind of intimidating. But I think it might be something to really think about possibly
Yeah.
doing. Yeah.
And I mean, with the duo video, it's pretty simple. What I found, like I've done lives, just me looking, and it's like, oof, and it's hard to go for 10 minutes even because I'm just talking and looking at comments but when I drop into a conversation, it's so much easier, because I mean we literally get paid, if you think about it, to have conversations. That's what Joe talks about. Like we want conversations. That's how we get paid. And so like all we're doing is hit forward. And I think that would make sense to do that. So I know you can do it with Zoom. That's an easy way to do it. There's that'd probably be, the easiest way is if you do a duo video, just go live on Zoom at the same time. I mean, go live on Facebook at the same time. And that way you get the recording, plus you got that.
Well, these ladies do it on Instagram, and
Okay.
they bring two people in on Instagram, and they're getting thousands of people watching them. It's pretty cool. So yeah, you could do it on Facebook does it too. You're right. You could bring two people on Facebook, but
Yeah.
I get these notifications every Thursday morning and I really like listening to them. So I actually almost listen to them to almost every Thursday now.
Right. And you get the notification, right? That they're
I get the
going live?
notification. Yeah, every time.
Yeah, that's the hack from going live is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. They want the eyeballs, so they promote you for free. I mean, it's really what they're doing. They're sending a notification out to everybody.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. It's I think what I like about it is so many people are intimidated by it, but when you do it, you're one of the few people that do it and people do pay attention.
Right.
Charlie, can't you, if you're on Facebook and you're going live, can't you click where you want it to go? What threads, like it go to show this in Instagram and on Messenger, like an ad? Doesn't the live video, does it allow you to do that? To go
It's
to
been-
right into your Instagram account as well?
It might be able to. It's been a long time since I've used the
Yeah,
app to do that. Possibly, I know there's some apps that let you multi-stream.
yeah.
And so like the one that I used to use, if you want to look into it, it's Restream. This is what we used. It lets you it's called multi-stream, lets you upload it or live stream to multiple places. I use another one called StreamYard, but I like Restream because it'll actually let you upload a previously done one. That's what we used. It's a nice little hack to get eyeballs.
I think it'd be also too, like Jim, if you're doing that and people want to ask questions, if you're really truly live, I think it was Jana who brought this up, but if you're truly live, then if a consumer asks a question, other people on it want to know that same answer but didn't ask or were afraid to ask. So it'd be cool if you were able to really go live on Facebook and then really monitor and see the questions come out and say, hey, we have a question from Susie, who would love to hear her name, right? Because people love to hear their name. Susie wants to know what the hell's going on with NAR? And you could answer, right? And everybody would get to listen in to that conversation, which would be awesome because you know that they want to know too. They just didn't ask. So it could be cool to do a live show Wednesdays with Jim, and then you talk about anything real estate or what's going on in your area or the new restaurant that just opened or whatever.
That's a really genius idea as well, Tony. And yes, I loved hearing my name. Thank you. And just kidding. So I wondered, speaking of NAR, has anybody had the opportunity to do a live video or an interview with somebody about the upcoming changes, or have they done their own video just speaking to that? I'm just curious what your experiences are.
I've been staying out of it just because in Arizona, we're not going to know anything till June or July, or which I think is really hefty or lofty ideals. So I've been just staying out of that conversation, except one lady who called me, who is a listing, and she said, hey, I just heard the president of the United States says we don't owe commissions to buyers agents anymore. Can we cancel the buyer on our property and not give them any commission?
Wow.
That really
happened. And I said, no. I said, I'm really sorry, but the president of the United States was handed wrong information by somebody who wanted him to read off a teleprompter, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. And poor sweet thing didn't do his research, and so he just made an idiot out of himself. And I said, and that's happening all over the news. And I said, nothing is correct on the news. It's all wrong. And she said, that's why we call you Tony Ray, because you know everything. And I tell all my friends, if you need the right answer, you call Tony Ray. Said, great, we're not changing the thing. You're going to pay the commission because you agreed to do that. She said, okay, perfect.
Oh my God, that's cute though. But I think that's the reality of human reaction, right? We only see what is in front of us and what affects us. We don't see the big picture. So I mean, that's the conversations I keep bumping into is people aren't zooming out a little bit to see, oh, I signed a contract, or, oh, I'm going to have a smaller buyer pool if I don't pay a buyer's agent commission.
Right.
And that's, I mean, obviously that's where our expertise is to explain it, but I'm just curious. I've seen a few realtors in my sphere speaking to it on social, and I'm just wondering if any of you have that I just haven't noticed.
Just haven't done it yet. I like the idea, but I think maybe it's hey, let's chat about this. Call me and let's talk, because it is a bunch of crap out there.
I did
Maybe
do
that's
I recorded a video and it was only about 3 minutes, but I email blasted to my top clients and I had good response. And I have a little bit of a regret even sending it though, a little bit though, because a lot of people said, I didn't even hear about this. Tell me what this is about. And it's like, and then I had other clients though say, oh, Jim, I'm so glad you sent that to me because I watch the news all the time. I get news feeds coming into my phone, and I heard about that, and I was going to ask you about it anyway. So thank you so much for sending it. So I kind of had both sides. I think everybody eventually is going to hear about it anyway. So maybe they should hear it from me first. That's my thought, is they should hear it from me first, so they know that, because they trust me like they trust Tony. And so that was kind of my theory. So I went ahead and did it. So,
What is your message to them? Like, you know, yeah,
my message to them was kind of like what Jesse Ibanez sent out today on Facebook. If you should go watch his. Mine's very similar to his. It basically said that, yeah, you know, like you can say you're not going to pay a co-op to a buyer's agent, but in reality, the buyer's been paying it anyway because they raised the price to cover the costs to pay that commission. And that was one point that he made that I thought was really, really good. And I talked about that as well in my video. And there was several points he made, but his was pretty short, but you could check out his, for example. I thought he did a good job. Of course, Jesse's he has a lot of his way of saying unique words and stuff, but I thought he did really well. So I think it's something to consider. It's something to consider, like, even though it's not been put into place, like what you're talking about, Tony, I think if you're like on the cutting edge of it and you have some thoughts about it, I think your friends probably might want to hear what your thoughts are about it.
We're already seeing some zero comps in our area. There's 2 or 3 on the MLS right now that are zero comp to the buyer's agent. And one says seller will not pay, period. One says seller may pay depending on the overall transaction deal. So it's already happening. I'm like trying to watch it with curiosity of, let's see how the free market works this out. It'll be interesting.
It'll be also cool for you because you have that happening already, is you can now analyze the days on market in that area for those 3. And then you'll have a little data there to say most houses in the area sold in 22 days. This property actually sold in 222 days.
Correct. We had one last year with a very small comp, and it took about 30 days to go into contract when everything else would normally go into contract within a week or 2. So it took twice as long to go under contract with a smaller comp.
So that would be great for you to, on your listing appointment, and to talk to clients up ahead advances that, hey, this is the reality of it. If you don't want to build it into the price, and that's what the appraisal value is as well, then this is what happens based on stats. And it's the same as if we take that $400,000 first time home buyer house and we don't offer it to FHA buyers, we're going to drop out 80% of our buyer pool, if that's the number. Because those are things that a seller just doesn't think about. They're just thinking they're going to get the extra money.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, we just all have to get better at explaining these things and not be uncomfortable with talking about money openly. I think that's a big part of what's gotten us into this situation.
You know, that's one of the biggest things I've gotten from this hour, you guys, is I'm going to just not worry about it being posted anywhere now. I'm just going to like, I'm easy to get a hold of. If you want to talk to me about co-ops, I'll tell you what we're paying.
Right.
I'll even just text you back 2.8% or whatever. Whatever you want, I'll let you know.
And Jim, one of the things I think is you have, I don't know about you guys, but I like to talk to other realtors and agents because I like to get a feel for them. I mean, and like we all know it when someone appears to, when I call and talk to somebody, I say, I'm certainly going to represent my client, but I'm not bringing crazy to the table. We're easy to get along with. We like to work well together. You get to say those things and you get this sense of, I've said to my clients, this person's acting crazy and they're not going to get any less crazy the deeper we get into this, So
Yep.
I think it just gives us, I would love to work with you, Jim, and be like, I'm glad I talked to that guy.
Yeah,
And
I'm not
we've
going
got
to just,
people here going, well, what's going to keep the listing agent from saying, well, to Jim, I'll pay 3%, but Tony Ray, I'm going to give him a 0.5% because I don't like it, or whatever. We have to trust that people, there's, what stops them from telling us I have multiple offers today, or I do, or I don't. There's going to be a couple of snakes in the grass and everybody else is going to be just fine. Everybody else is going to be good people. And we just have to believe that's, and those who are snakes, we're going to get them out of our business because people will figure it out, right? We'll cut their heads off. So anyway, I really digressed on a bunch of things there, but whatever.
I agree with what you're saying.
I have a question for the agents. I've not done this in the past, but I've had a couple of just really nice agents to work with recently, and they were on the listing side. Is there anything in this whole NAR thing that would cause any issues if I went into their Google and gave them positive ratings as a lender that worked with them as an agent?
No.
No, that would be awesome. I've done that for other agents. Like if I had a great experience with them, I'll give them a good review.
I reached out to every lender we ever work with on a regular basis. I've reached out to all of them, had them write a review, because reviews, one of the things Google looks at is, for example, I have my client reviews, but I actually have character reviews in there now. So I would say, Jerry, could you pop in and write a character review? It doesn't have to be that we had a transaction. Just write a character review. I've known Tony Ray for a blank amount of years, and he's a nut job and he's crazy. So that's what you write, right? And then one time. But so those character reviews are very helpful because it just gives a different perspective than I bought a house and they were great. It gives a different perspective from, you'll hear words like, this is a very trustworthy person or an honest person, or they always do what they say they're going to do. There's more of that in there. So I'd say go for it. I think it's helpful to everyone.
Cool. Thanks for the advice on that.
I'd love to get 3 of you to write a Google review for me today, because let me tell you what, I'm at 97 and it's driving me insane. Just need 100.
Hey, send me the link or post in the Facebook group. I'll be one of them.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just at 97 and I'm just wait. I want to tip 100 just because it's some weird thing now in my head that I'm so close.
Yeah.
I'll do one too, Tony.
Thank you.
Speaking of reviews, would you guys know if a review on realtor.com can be edited
Yes.
by the writer?
You should be able to go in under realtor.com there, but it shows it 2 ways. It shows it as
my friend that I sold a house for wrote a glowing review, but I think she must have given me 3 stars on something. So instead of having 5 stars, I know her, it was an error, but before I approach her, I wanted to know if she can even edit it.
I think she can.
I've got to hop off. Can I make one of you the co-host so that y'all can finish this, or do you want to close it? Because I want your question answered, Jana.
If nobody knows for sure, then don't worry about it.
Anyone know for sure?
I don't know for sure, and I've got to run anyway, so.
Thanks,
Guys.
Bye,
guys.
guys.
That's good. See ya.
Thank you. I'll send you my Google link.
Perfect.